In this session again, in this we are having two sessions or two topics. First is regarding court procedure. So in the morning session, many of you have put questions regarding court procedures and what should contain in the operative orders, etc. So that part we will cover right now, and thereafter the second lecture would be regarding adoption of children having a special need and special children. That means. So in this first session, I again welcome Aparna madam, Shalini madam, Mini madam, and Shishir sir, and I request them to start the session on the topic court procedures, contents of adoption order in country and inter-country adoptions. Thank you.
We will start with the court procedures now.
Yes, madam. You can start.
Is my slide visible to you all? Is my slide visible to you all?
Yes. It is visible, madam. You can proceed.
We will start with the court procedure, that is the child of the court procedure. Adoption gets included immediately after obtaining
Madam, 1 minute, please. There is some disturbance in volume.
of your.
I think it is at your end. So, sit. Otherwise, you can use the headphone also.
Is it fine, ma'am, now?
No, still it is not clear. There is humming sound.
मॅडम मे बी एक डिव्हाइस आहे तिथं परत ज्याच्यात कनेक्शन आहे त्याच्यावरून आवाज येतोय तो.
Is it better now, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. The adoption gets concluded legally only after obtaining an adoption order from the concerned court. The court here means civil court, which has jurisdiction in matters of adoption and guardianship and may include the district court and family court or city civil court. What we have done in our presentation, if you can see, we have quoted the relevant sections for referencing. We proceed further. The court procedure is defined under Section 61 of the JJ Act, Regulation 12, 17, 55 of the Adoption Regulation. Regulation 12 refers to in-country OS adoption legal procedure, 17 refers to inter-country court procedure, and 55 refers to the relative court procedure. We've taken all the adoptions in three formats: in-country OS, inter-country OS, and relative. So we have three corroborating regulations in the Adoption Regulation 2017. The procedure before the court shall not be bound by the procedure laid in the CPC 1908. The application of the adoption order is non-adversarial in nature. The SA and the PAPS are co-applicants. There are no opposite party or respondent in this case. They both jointly apply. In this case, as we have dwelled on before also, that if the child is from a CCI, then SA, CCI, and PAPS, all three become co-applicants for the adoption petition. The model adoption applications of all the 5 adoptions are provided from Schedule 28 to 32 of Adoption Regulations 2017. The list of documents that need to be attached with each different type of model application is defined under Schedule 6 and 9. In case the PAPs are habitually residing abroad, they may permit the social worker of the SA to represent them through a power of attorney. The definition of this procedure is defined in Regulation 17.2, wherein the intercountry PAPs give a power of attorney in the name of the social worker of the SA who represents them in the hearings conducted by the concerned court for that particular intercountry adoption. The SA files the application in the court within 10 days of the matching or the NOC. Here, matching talks about the matching of an in-country parent with an OAS child and then pre-adoption foster care that happens after the affidavit is done. The NOC talks about the no objection certificate issued by CARA in case of inter-country adoptions. So within 10 days of both the documents, that means the pre-adoption foster care or the NOC respectively, the application shall be filed in the concerned court. In case the child is from a CCI, CCI also becomes a co-applicant that we've already discussed. There will be a single petition for twins or siblings. Like there was a single LFA for twins or siblings, similarly a single petition and a single order for twins and siblings. All court proceedings to be held in camera and stipulated to be disposed within 2 months of the date of filing. The adoption order should not stipulate execution of any kind of bond or making investment by the PAPS in the name of the child. Registration of an adoption deed shall not be mandatory as per this Act. Petition filed by PAPS to adopt a child of a relative should carry the consent letter of the biological parents or permission of the CWC, whichever is applicable. In case of intercountry relative adoption, the PAP shall file an application in the district where the child resides. Before issuing the court order, the court shall satisfy itself as mandated in section 61(1) of the Act. If I read through it, it says, court procedure and penalty against payment in consideration of adoption. Before issuing a court order, the court shall satisfy itself. A. The adoption is for the welfare of the child. B. Due consideration is given to the wishes of the child having regard to the age and understanding of the child. To quote here, as per regulation 49, the older child, that is, a child above the age of 5 years, has to give his consent to be adopted. This is also enumerated in the list of documents that are attached with the petition that is filed in the court as per Schedule 9. Both in case of relative adoption or in OS adoption, if the family has a biological child who is above 5 years of the age, has to give a consent, as well as the child who is being adopted is above 5 years of age, has to give a consent letter. Let's return to section 61. It says that neither the PAPS has given or agreed to give, nor the SA or the parent or guardian of the child, in case of relative adoption, has received or agreed to receive a payment or reward in consideration of adoption, except as permitted under the adoption regulation framed by the authority towards the adoption fees or service charge or the child care purpose. The adoption proceedings shall be held in camera and the cases shall be disposed of by the court within a period of 2 months from the date of filing. I would like to mention in this case regarding the adoption fees. The adoption fees in case of an in-country adoption, the parent pays 6,000 rupees at the time of the HSR, 40,000 for the procedure, and which is counted as the child care corpus, and 2,000 each for each follow-up report. For an inter-country adoption, the adoption fees would be 9,000.
The entire adoption fees, if the parents are staying out of India, it is $5,000 paid in 2 parts, 3,000 at the time of filing of petition and 2,000 when final custody of the child is taken. For in-country adoption or PAPS who are residing in India, it is the same. The only thing is that home study report is done, and for that the fees is $150. So this is for inter-country adoption procedure.
The child care corpus that we discussed in case of in-country, which is 40,000 rupees, and $5,000 in case of inter-country adoption. This includes the legal fees of the lawyer who would file the petition in the concerned court. The petition filed by the PAPS to adopt a child of a relative should carry the consent. We already discussed that. Before issuing the court order, the court shall 61(1), the welfare of the child. We've already discussed about the welfare of the child, the wishes, that means the consent the older child gives, no payment or any kind of bond which is required, only the child care corpus or the adoption fees as stipulated by the adoption regulations and the authority will be taken. It is important to point out a small point here that there is no requirement of scrutiny committee as the application gets filed in the court only after the entire process has been scrutinized by the respective agency mandated to do so. I would dwell upon this point for a little bit that in case of in-country adoption, if you remember, we talked about the adoption committee. The adoption committee basically verifies and validates the home study reports, the documents submitted by the parent on carings while registering, and what were presented to the committee at the time the committee was held. So they validate both the documents only, then they approve the case. In case of inter-country adoption, when the parent registers the scrutiny of a parent to make them eligible to adopt is done by CARA. Then after they accept the child, the NOC committee scrutinizes the whole case, and only when they're satisfied that the parent is approved to adopt this child, they issue the NOC for that particular case. So whenever these cases are filed in court, in country or inter-country, they're duly scrutinized by the respective agencies involved in the process. The in-camera hearing and disposal within a period of 2 months must be ensured in the welfare of the child. As early, at times we see there is a certain delay in the court procedures of obtaining a court order. In such cases, the rehabilitation of the child is delayed. The summary of the provisions of the Act. Adoption, I would just read through them. Adoption to be resorted to as per the provisions of the Act, rules and the adoption regulations framed by CARA to ensure right to family of OS children. A non-Hindu living in India can adopt under the JJ Act. Nothing in JJ Act shall apply to the adoption of children made under the provisions of HAMA. All inter-country adoption to be done as per the provisions of the JJ Act and adoption regulations. Eligibility of PAPs are laid down under sections 57 and further in regulation 5 of the adoption regulation. Procedure for adoption by Indian prospective parents living in India laid down under section 58. Procedure of inter-country adoption of OS children in India are laid down in section 59. Procedure of inter-country relative adoption is laid down under section 60. Court procedure is dwelled upon in section 61. Effect of adoption is laid down under section 63 of the Act. The documentation and other procedural requirements not expressly provided in this Act with regard to the adoption of resident Indian or by NRI or by USA or foreigner shall be as per the adoption regulations framed by the authority. Orders sought for by the adopted parents. The adoption of the child granted to the adopted parents and the declared parent of the child. This is effect of section 63. Section 63 talks about the effect of adoption. That when an adoption order is granted to a child, the child legally becomes the child as born to those parents. The new name, the adopted parents can give the child a new name while signing the pre-adoption foster care affidavit. Directions to be given to the birth certificate. At times we see the birth certificate is delayed. The birth certificate after the court order is the first document that the child would have, wherein it would be mentioned by the issuing authority that the adopted parents are parents to this child. A tested photograph of the child may be affixed to the court order. This would ensure the approved and certified court order for the child, which would be easy for the birth certificate issuing authority to issue the birth certificate and for further reference. In case of in-country adoption, a child is taken in pre-adoption foster care. Parents are under anxiety and emotional stress. I would like to quote a case in some other part of the country wherein a case is languishing for more than a year. The child has to go to school. The school administrations are asking for a birth certificate. Till the court order is being given and the birth certificate is finally received by the parent, the child cannot be admitted to the school, which delays the rehabilitation, the growth, and other prospects of the child. So it's a sincere request that the 2 months timeline after satisfying the judiciary, after satisfying themselves with all the provisions, may provide with the adoption order in the stipulated time period. The birth certificate and the passport of the child cannot be made until the order is received. No policies, health, and other benefits can be given to the child because basically between the child and the parent. The parent cannot say the child the order hasn't been received. If we talk of inter-country adoption, the child continues to remain in the institution till the order is pending. Once the order is received, only after that the passport and the birth certificate can be done and the final custody can be thought over. The rehabilitation of the child gets delayed. If the child is a special needs child and might require a medical rehabilitation plan, at times get delayed because of delay in receiving a court order. This is a small slide wherein district-wise we're just showing the pending court cases in the state. This would be taken in detail with by our Joint Director sir in tomorrow's session. A few concerns. It's a request that scrutiny agencies are not required, as we discussed before also, that these applications, these petitions come to all of you after due scrutinizing by the functionaries involved. Delay in assigning dates and short adjournments. Due to some transfers and the absence of the judges in particular courts, there is a delay which affects the rehabilitation of the child. A few adoption orders advertising about the adoption violates the right and privacy enshrined in Constitution and is prohibited under Section 74. Adoptive parents, this is, please don't take it in a way that this happens in Maharashtra. It is an overall view that some parts of the country we view these kind of things. That's why we just thought it is just a point to make that these things are observed. Adoptive parents ordered to execute bonds and deposits in the name of the child. Adoptive parents ordered to donate money to an organization, asking the adoptive to use the child in regular intervals up to a certain duration. I think we have discussed about this, and it's a sincere request that delay in adoption order delays the right to family to every child. I would read this to all of you. My name is today. We are guilty of many errors and many faults, but our worst crime is abandoning the children, neglecting the fountain of life. Many things we need can't wait, but the child cannot. Right now is the time. His bones are formed. His blood is being made. His senses are being developed. To him, we cannot answer tomorrow. His name is today. With this, we end this. Thank you so much, and we would continue with the special needs in some time. Ma'am, over to you.
Yes, thank you, madam. In the morning session, before starting of the webinar, we have collected few questions from our participant judges. Most of the questions are relating to court procedure and contents of adoption order, etc. So, if it is possible, then we can take those questions right now and
Yes, ma'am.
minutes.
Yes, ma'am. We can take them.
And thereafter, after this question and answer for 15 to 20 minutes, we will take a short tea break. And thereafter, you can continue with the next session regarding special needs, adoption regarding special needs children.
Yes,
So, few questions we would be taking right now.
Sure.
Most of the questions are relating to the bond, etc. Right now, we have seen in the slide that bond shall not be taken or they shall not be ordered to deposit money, etc. So, regarding that, the queries were put by our judges that in few cases, the parents themselves are ready to deposit some amount in the name of the child, or means though the court is not asking them, court is not directing them, but if they themselves are willing, then whether such bonds can be taken or they can be directed or they can be asked to deposit the amount. So that is their query.
And that a parent can see, suppose an adoption order has been given, this money can be deposited in the name of the child by the parent anytime. But if it comes in an adoption order, it might become a precedence that mentioning of a bond has to be there in an adoption order. So it is a request that this might not be mentioned in an order, but
Hmm.
if parent wants to put some money in the name of the child, he can do anytime.
Okay, yes, that is true. Means according to you, if they are willing, then it can be done at any time. So if
Yes.
it would be the order of the court, then it may operate as a precedent, and therefore it would be better to avoid such order in the order by the court or in the operative order, right? I am understanding it properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that was the basic question of many of the judges. Then regarding relative adoption, one question was put by one judge that the scope of relative adoption is very limited as far as this JJ Act is concerned, because the definition of relative is not much, not many persons are covered in that definition. That is very narrow. So the question was, um, if the relatives are adopting a child of a relative in adoption, and they are going to the registrars for registering the adoption deed,
Yes, ma'am.
but the registrars are asking them for obtaining the court's order.
Okay.
So this is their practical difficulty. I mean, though the adoption is by way of a registered deed under Adoption Maintenance Act, as said by you, it needs registration.
Yes.
But
Yes,
when they go in registrar's office, they are asking them for obtaining the court's order. So what will be the way out to deal with this problem?
case of Hama, the adoption gets completed with the registration of a. But in case of relative adoption under the JJ Act, when the verification is done both in case of in-country and inter-country relative adoption, the verifying functionality, the District Child Protection Unit, draws a
Hmm.
family tree. So
Hmm.
when we talk about Section 2, subsection 52, wherein relative is defined as maternal, paternal, uncle and aunt and grandparents,
Hmm.
the clear bloodline should flow in the family tree, which is to be verified by the DCPO. If a
Right.
clear bloodline is then, based on recommendation, it can be produced for a pre-approval letter from
Hmm.
CARA and henceforth taken to the court for finalizing the adoption.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Means for others, the scope is limited. That's why only those persons can take in adoption in relative adoption in JJ Act. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then about there one more practical problem is that they are not receiving no objection from Kara in a time, and sometimes it comes late, so they are finding it difficult. That was their another difficulty
In case of OS or relative adoption.
in case of OS. In case of OS.
Yeah, ma'am, in case of OS, as
Hmm.
soon as we receive, because there are a few documents which are mandatory for us to receive, they are Article 5 and Article 17. Till the
Hmm.
time we receive those articles, we
Hmm.
don't take it to NOC committee. And as we have explained earlier, NOC committee is by the order of Supreme Court, and there are 3 outside members who are a part of NOC committee.
Okay.
Now, many times what happens is when the case is forwarded for NOC committee review, the maybe the medical is not as per or they want a medical review or a social member has raised a concern. Then by the time all these concerns are satisfied, we cannot issue the NOC. So all the 3 members of NOC committee have to approve and recommend the case before we issue the so if the NOC is being delayed, the main point is either we have not received all the documents from the foreign country, the other country, and sometimes our agencies also do the same thing. The CWC is not in right order.
Yes.
When I am placing the case for NOC committee's consideration, there is a legal member. She looks
Okay.
at all the documents. If PwC is not in Schedule 1 format or it is not properly written, we don't know when the child was received, it came to the staff, when was it produced in the PwC, when was the child declared. So all these documents
become very important, and they should be in right format. So either from agencies, either the delay is at the agency end of sending us a document, or at the end of the foreign agency sending. As soon as we receive all the documents, it's forwarded for the NOC committee. And now, if NOC committee has any concern, then it further gets delayed because it is re-examination cases. So generally, at CARA's level, it is not delayed. It is delayed basically because of some documents or the concerns of the NOC committee. So that is happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
So after completing whole formalities, CARA will immediately issue, but the time requires for completion of all the formalities.
Not only the documents, the NOC committee, all key members.
Yes.
We cannot, it is not that two members have recommended and the third has not. And sometimes if it is then we have to take it to the appellate committee, the appellate of the committee also. So these things get delayed at that point of time. Right?
Okay. If one Mr. Nathu has raised his hands, he wants to say something about the same question, then he can.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Nathu sir, are you there? I think you had raised the hand. You can unmute yourself and talk. Okay. If he is not there or some technical issue may be there, I will put you the next question. Hmm. The next question was relating to the adoption, means inter-country adoptions. That the question was that if the parents are from foreign country and if they are not coming this in this COVID situation, they may not come here to satisfy the court, or if they cannot attend the court, and whether interaction can be taken on VC and the court can satisfy that they are the proper persons to be handed over. That was the question regarding inter-country adoptions. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have already sent a request to all the registrar generals of the High Court also from our CO's end, because right now visas are not being provided for under process cases.
Hmm.
So we are getting visas where the adoption process is completed, but for under process because of this condition, and as a result, what is happening is the cases are getting delayed indefinitely. So we had requested from CO's side, a letter has gone. All the state agencies know, state authorities know that the letter has gone to the Registrar General of the Honorable High Courts of State, requesting them to just expedite the process by conferring through video conferences.
Okay.
And because all the documents are already there, originals have come to them. The only thing is that talking to the person, which now we are doing with video, everything is being done with video conferencing. So many cases in Supreme Court also and High Courts also are being done through video conferencing. So it is our request if it can be done through video conferencing. We know that they want to satisfy the honorable judges, they want to satisfy themselves, and it is for the best interest of the child also. But at the same time, we have to see that most of the cases, children who are going to intercountry adoption are special needs children, or they're already older children. And if we are delaying the process, the rehabilitation process is getting delayed. So, but we have requested all the ARPAs and all that they should, when the custody of the they should spend some time in the country with the child so that there is a bonding. And there is one more request, ma'am. There are a few special needs children who need medical care
Hmm.
and a loving family immediately. And we have those documents, and sometimes we send it to the courts also. We request the court we request that please look at these and if it can be expedited in this way, because documents are being checked and NOC committee is there to look after the welfare of the child also. So that is why sometimes we are saying NOC is delayed, because if my social member says that I don't think it is mandatory, then we have to ask the social worker of that APA. Please send our social worker has seen this reservation regarding our concern. So please send us a document. So they then go to America and all. They go to the and they write to us that as a social worker we have assessed that it is suitable to adopt. So my request to the honorable judiciary is that if these cases can be looked at in a sympathetic way,
and if video conferencing can be done, and the procedure, so that the parents, once the process is complete, once the adoption order is complete, then they are getting visas to come to India and take children. In last 2 months, we have given around 20 to 30 people have come to, parents have come to take the custody of the children, and they have taken the children, and it is such a nice thing that in this situation, the children are with the families and they can be taken care of.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. And I would like to say that the judges themselves have shared that many of them have already started using this VC and video conferencing and other video facility of
Yes.
to have a dialogue or conversation with their parents. Many of them have disposed of the applications also, but at few
Yeah,
times they find it proper. See, the satisfaction of the court is the main thing in that.
absolutely,
Court
absolutely.
is satisfied, they are finding it difficult to pass the final order. So in some cases, they are having those problems. So that was
Yes,
therefore this question arose.
we totally understand that, and we
Yes.
thank everyone from the bottom of our heart.
Mhm. Madam, the next question is regarding assessing the eligibility of the parents.
Yes.
Means how whether they are economically sound and the other things about their family background and etc. So it, it is the question that how the court should access these things and eligibility of the parents.
Ma'am, if you're talking about inter-country adoption, the home study
Huh.
reports in a detailed way, and as in most of the foreign countries which are partners to us,
Hmm.
there is a perjury. If they are not, if the parents have not disclosed anything in home study report, they can be it is treated as perjury, and there can be, even so many a times we get the details in those home study reports which are not in India. Many a times we don't even talk about it, because if they have not. Since I am talking with the judiciary now, I can tell that we had one HSR which said that they had pornographic addiction. This was not a crime. This is not a crime, but it was still mentioned in the home study report because there's a duty for them and they're bound to disclose. So this bound disclosure is important. Therefore, home study report becomes a major factor in assessing the eligibility and suitability of the parents, and the authorized foreign adoption agency is responsible for that. So in case they are not eligible or suitable and something like that, we have authorized foreign adoption agencies who are looking up. And these authorized foreign adoption agencies have been accredited by the Hague Convention and also by their own central authority. So we have not authorized them just looking at their documents. We have seen their accreditation from Hague. If they have been accredited by Hague Convention, also authorized from their central authority. So it is not just one agency we are talking about. We are talking about a government organization, a central authority which has been assigned to look after inter-country adoption process. So these home study reports become the major factor. Other than that, there are income, there are references, there is medical certificate, psychological assessment report has become mandatory from last 2 years. So which is also by a registered clinical psychologist. So we look at detailed psychological assessment reports, which is also checked at NOC level by our own social worker, our own medical expert who is from AIMS. We think that AIMS is the highest this thing in medical. So we have one psychiatrist in that NOC committee, one psychologist is there. So till the time we do not, NOC committee does not satisfy itself, NOC is not recommended. So that is why I feel that home study report and NOC, it makes a major part of it. I hope I'm able to satisfy others. If
Yes.
there is another query, I can, because I don't want to talk about a lot in detail about that. But this is what it is. And if there is a
Yes.
question, maybe our joint director can look at it.
One hand is raised by Principal District Judge Honorable Shri Mahajan sir. It is a
Yes,
Buldhana. Yes, sir.
yes.
You mute your mic and speak.
Madam, there was no clear audibility about the answer on the point of whether the amount consented by the parents to be deposited, whether that order is to be taken in the operative part or not. That answer is not audible.
That answer is not. This is that, so that answer is not.
Audible. That answer could not be heard properly.
Okay. I just
Your voice is not audible properly.
okay. I just said that if the parents are ready to give any money in the name of the child, they can do any time after the order has been announced. Because after the order is announced, the child is biologically it's like biologically born to those parents. But mentioning this
Madam, sorry to interrupt. You are not properly audible. There is much
Voice is not proper.
disturbance. Voice is not properly coming. There is much disturbance. I think the disturbance is your office or other. I don't know, but
There is another theory, madam. For satisfying the code as per section 61, if the affidavit is sought, the affidavit is to be sent by the adult or clients from their locality. And except the affidavit to be filed in the High Court, the courts in that locality are not allowing to the adoptive parents to execute the affidavit at that place. So how the affidavit is to be sent?
I don't think because you are not audible clearly.
No, madam. No.
मॅडम आपण काही हेडफोन लावलाय का? कारा ऑफिस मधून बोलतायत आपण. हेडफोन लावलाय का? इयरफोन काही यूज करताय का? त्याच्यामुळे पण ते नॉइज होते आणि आजूबाजूचा पण भरपूर आवाज आहे आपल्या इथून.
But sir was not clear, so we cannot hear.
no, we can clearly hear Shalini madam, but we cannot clearly hear. Right now, I think Aparna madam is
Yes,
speaking.
ma'am. If you could
Yeah.
repeat
We can hear Shalini madam properly, but we cannot hear you. That is the problem.
Ma'am, if you could please repeat sir's question so that we can answer the same.
Sir's question was that we have taken that question, but it was not properly audible. So, sir's
Yes, ma'am.
question is that whether that was about depositing the amount in the name of the child which you are going to take in adoption. So, his question whether to direct in operative order or in the reasoning, or why it shall not be, or relating to that, what to be done.
Ma'am, as I said before also that this should not be mentioned in the court order as this might be taken as precedence. So if we omit this thing from the court order, an investment in the name of the child can be done from any time after the court order is pronounced. But this should not be mentioned. It's a humble request that this should not be mentioned in the court order.
Yes. Okay.
And madam, what about the affidavit? How it is to be sent? How it is to be executed? When the verification is to be conducted on VC.
Sir's next question is regarding how the affidavit should be sent when we are having the conversation with VC. So that is his next question.
Which affidavit, ma'am?
It is the practice in most of the courts that at the time of verification of the adoptive parents,
Yes, sir.
passing of the order, the affidavit are filed by the adoptive parents. In the COVID-19 situation, when the verification for the compliance of section 61, the
Yes, sir.
verification is conducted on VC.
Yes, sir.
How the affidavit in support of the conviction of the parents is to be taken on board, is to be taken on record.
Sir, may I please ask that if you're talking about the pre-adoption foster care affidavit?
See, it is the practice at Chandrapur as well as Nanded and Buldhana that at the time of verification in support of the application, the applicants are filing the affidavit.
When they come to take the child, that is time. So when they come and take the child, that is the time when they give acceptance for accepting the child in case of in-country adoption. They execute a pre-adoption foster care affidavit based on which the custody of the child is handed over to the resident Indian parent in case of in-country adoptions. This affidavit is a part of the annexures that are attached to the petition that is filed in the court concerned for finalization of this adoption case. So the custody of the child has to be taken in person. So the parent comes and take this custody. For that, at that time, this affidavit is executed.
Okay, means according to you, madam, on VC just oral verification, and at the time of handing over the actual custody, the affidavit in person can be filed.
Yes,
If I
yes.
understand it properly.
As I explained before, that after the referral is accepted by the parent, that means the parent reserves the child, the video conferencing happens to verify the documents. Once the documents are verified by the committee gets to go ahead for acceptance. The parent visits that agency, gives the acceptance by physically signing the CSR and NR of the child, executing the pre-adoption foster care affidavit, taking the custody of the child. Now the parent is the foster parent of the child till the court order is received.
Hmm.
And this forms an annexure to the model petition or the petition that is filed for the adoption.
Yes. Okay, thank you, madam. Uh, the next question was put by one judge from Goa. That is, if in pre-adoption foster care, the child was handed over in the custody of parents, prospective adoptive parents. But on VC, when the judge had a dialogue with that child, the
Okay.
judge observed that the child was badly hurt on his cheek. So there was a black red mark on the cheek. And when the judge inquired with the parents that how this hurt is there, so they gave some answers that those were not acceptable to the judge. So the question was that then in such cases what the judge shall do, because
The
already the
judge
judge
can
is given
immediately order the lawyer present in the court representing the staff from where the child has been taken to communicate with the HSR district where the parent and the child is residing for conducting a post-adoption follow-up report, assessing the situation, reporting back immediately to the court regarding any mishap or misfortune happened to the child or hurt to the child. In case it is verified, then the DCPO who's doing this assessment report can take the child immediately in the presence of the CWC and put the child in immediate care in the nearest SAM. The repatriation can happen later, but the child can be rescued then and there based on the assessment report.
Okay. I think the query is answered. The judge is and must be satisfied who has asked this question. I think that the judge was from Goa.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. One query was asked by a judge that we all know that the consent of both parents are required for giving adoption other than institutionalized. So the
Yes, ma'am.
question was that there was matrimonial dispute between the parties, the husband and the wife has already left the home, and her whereabouts are unknown to the husband. But the
Okay.
couple was having the two children, and now the father, means the husband of that lady, wants to give the children in adoption, but he is unaware about the whereabouts of the wife. So now the question is, without the wife's consent, how he is able to give the children
If the father
adoption?
is unable to take care of the children, the father can surrender the children in front of the CWC. The children will be taken through interim care by the CWC, but cannot be declared legally free till the whereabouts of the mother is traced out and the consent has been obtained. So the CWC can provide interim care to the children wherein the father is unable to take care of the children, but
Oh,
cannot declare them legally free for adoption.
okay. Thank you, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, I think the remaining questions you have covered during your sessions, And
Yes,
if any are remaining, we can cover it tomorrow in tomorrow's sessions also.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think we can take a 10 minutes tea break right now, and thereafter we can continue the next session regarding child in special need.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, we can see some questions regarding medical conditions which should be covered in the next session from
Yes.
your
Yes, we will cover it in next session. We will take a break of 3 minutes. Please don't discontinue the line.
Sure, ma'am. We will not.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.